Welcome to Made in the Trade, a podcast about blue-collar jobs and trade school careers. Most of our guests are here to talk about their careers. Larry Lawton's, his most famous career, it's not one we'd recommend. This episode is brought to you by Dragon Path Transport, experts in car transportation. Only 25% of carriers pass the Dragon Eye evaluation process. Stress-free automotive transportation for individuals, car enthusiasts, and dealerships. Go to Dragon Path Transport for your free quote. Larry was once one of America's most notorious jewel thieves before spending more than a decade in federal prison. Today, he's the founder of the Reality Check program, where he works to help young people avoid the mistakes he made. Author of Gangster Redemption, podcaster, YouTuber, the list goes on and on. We wanted to have Larry on because his story goes far beyond crime. We're talking about second chances, the trades, how a trade can open doors, and how having a skill can help give people a chance to rebuild their lives.
Yeah. Are you infamous or famous?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I love your show. I think you're going to show a lot of people what Made in the Trades is about, because I grew up in the trades. My dad was in the sheet metal units called Local 28. It was in New York City, and he raised 5 kids. I remember when he was laid off. I remember when he had to picket on lines back in the 70s. But my dad was a big-time union guy. He became a union delegate, ran the World Trade Center, actually built it. In fact, he ran 200 guys on the World Trade Center, and I got to go on the roof. My brother and I, we have pictures, when in 1970, it was built from 1968 to 72. And my dad brought us up there, and the construction workers actually put a rope around our waist and let us crawl to the edge. And I'll tell you talk about scary. That was at the 103rd floor at that time. It was still going up. Unbelievable. I mean, to see.
Did they build those at the same time, or one and then start the other?
No, the same time.
Okay.
And they did them in 4 years. Can you imagine that? 2 of the biggest buildings in the world at the time. They were the biggest.
That's amazing.
In 4 years in a city that's crazy. And they built that.
Yeah.
So the trades to me, the trades did all that. And that's such coordination and smarts. And boy, the trades, they teach you that even in prison, but I'll let you could ask me about that.
Yeah. Well, you started off kind of young in the...
Not in the trades, Gary.
In the criminal.
Bookmaking trade.
The bookmaking. So you started kind of on the wrong path, even though you had a good role model in your father as a tradesman, right? You kind of still didn't take and bring that to heart and make it your passion, or you kind of took an alternate path, right? You think?
It's funny, Kerry, because I teach that today. Learn from my mistakes. Don't go do what I did. You think I would have listened when I was a young kid, but you don't. Sometimes I grew up in that kind of neighborhood, which was all gangsters and mobsters and tradesmen, electricians, telephone men. My dad, another construction worker, Mr. Knapp was with the Mob Bell.
Yeah.
Mob Bell. Then there was a teacher, a principal, and his wife. And then there was a warehouse manager. This is in my then there was a mobster, another mobster in the Cadillacs. And of course, we're washing those cars. So
you see both paths at a young age.
I should have took the trade.
Yeah.
It really is when you think, of course you don't think like that. You think, oh, the trades, they work. My dad and my brother, you should have my brother on. My brother's a retired union man. He'll come on. And he's retired, and he gets a hell of a pension, and he's living a real good life now, and just from the trades. So people don't know that.
Yeah, you don't hear those stories when you're in high school. Like, what was your experience in high school? Where were you thinking you wanted to go? Did they have trade programs or apprenticeships where you could learn a trade? Or were they pushing college, or where were you?
Oh, in my school, this is in the Bronx, New York. In 1977, we had busing. It wasn't a school to go to. And it wasn't like we had 5,000 students. I ended up having trouble, and they didn't want me back. I ended up going in the military. No matter what.
Because high school just wasn't inspiring.
It's funny.
They didn't have like a
Oh, they had a shop class, I remember. I used to make bongs. I just grew up in the streets.
Yeah, we made bats.
Yeah, we literally made wooden bongs. That's the only class I went to.
Yeah.
And it's, the times were different. If you look back at it now, nobody told you, hey, a good job as a plumber. I know this, guys, because when I found your show, because I was online looking, and I'm always online, it popped up. And I go, I love it. We need this so bad. Hey, I can't take this away.
Right.
And look at this now. I'm doing stuff around my house now. My mom passed. We all know that. And my channel knows everybody. And so I'm doing stuff around the house. I've called tradesmen already. And it's cost me a lot more money than you can imagine. And they were good. I didn't even have a problem paying them, as long as they were fair to me. But I know what it costs now. You're costing $150 to get them to the house before they even pick up a wrench.
Right. Yeah.
And when you have a 38, 40-foot RV with 2 bedrooms, they walk in there and it's another $1,000 off the top of it. Trades. I keep loving it because I grew up on them. My brother's on them. I have uncles. They're all tradesmen. They raised great families. I know many millionaires right now living right here in Florida. Tradesmen, steam fitters, if you know what that is. Electricians, steam fitters, plumbers. You go to New York City in a union, you know what you're making.
Oh, yeah.
Besides even the money, I'm loving learning. I'm not too handy. I used to believe if you can't fix it with a hammer, get a bigger hammer.
Yeah.
But obviously I was wrong. And I wish I knew as much as Kerry does. He's a tradesman his whole life. Can fix anything. I know because he's fixed my electricity.
Yeah.
And I don't mind paying people. If they do the job, they say that there's a reason you know what you're doing. So you don't kill me, an electrician. I don't want to do that stuff. I don't even want to open the panel. But I think people need that. Young people need this show.
It could have kept you from going down the alternate path, right?
100%. It would have. Yeah. Not could have.
It should have.
It would have. The military would have too, but I think things happen for reasons. I end up getting hurt. And, listen, I've always believed in destiny. I am who I am. It is what it is. Of course, I would do things different. Everybody asks, would you do things different? Of course. Bill Gates said it. Every billionaire said it. Just take out the bad, keep the good.
Yeah.
So, of course, I would change my mind or do things differently. But if I can affect one young guy from my channel or your channel or that says, man, I'm going to go to be that electrician. Because I get them on my channel. A couple of young guys, hey, Mr. Lawton, I want to be a guard. I never say no. I actually say, if we're going to have that job, do it with compassion, do it the right way. Don't let yourself get jaded. Every job is a job. I don't care if it's McDonald's. I really support people who work, period. The trades is a career, and that's what people don't get.
Yeah.
Trades isn't a little step to go to college. I told you, I know people. I did tell you before the show, I said, I know lawyers in Long Island quitting being a lawyer and becoming a police officer because the pay is so good. Pay $250,000 a year. They're working extra shifts, so they get perks. Come on, who wouldn't want that? Now, when you start getting older, you start thinking how much you got to work, where you got to live. You guys know that. I know you lost your job. I loved your first show. I think that was opening and telling. And Kerry, I know, knows the trades better than anybody I know. And I think you got to keep doing it.
Yeah. So as a tradesman, I also know there's crime in trades. Believe it or not, there's, to rip someone off.
You want me to get into that one?
Well, I'll just tell you, what I mean? This guy comes in,
guys.
Well, yeah, they come in and look at your water heater. Oh, this thing has to be replaced, and it's just a bad switch. There's just all sorts of ways to rip people off.
Kerry, you brought that up, and that really, really opened my eyes, and I'll tell you why. This just happened to me, and I mean that. I had a company come in. They came, they gave me an estimate. The estimate was like $7,000 to get things done in my RV. Well, it didn't sit right with me because there were certain things that I knew. How is he saying this is broke? If he's testing something after he said it's broke, like not the alternate, what's the inverter that changes power from DC to AC, of course. Well, yours is broke, but how is it broke if it's reading the voltage on or sending the voltage to do something? So I started looking into it, and I got another guy. I found a friend. He owns a mobile RV place. He's right here in Miko. Young guy, 40, on time, wife, met, called, got an appointment, took me 10 days, which is big time. There's a profession, guys.
Yeah.
RV repair.
Whoa,
I tell you, that's a profession.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy came, and we went all over my stuff. It's going to cost me about $900.
Right.
Compared to $7,000.
Because $7. Now, that's one way to rip. I mean, obviously, you had me thinking rip off the mob, how we did it. And stuff.
Yeah.
But that's different. That's union stuff.
Yeah.
As the tradesman, he's so right. And you guys had a couple of guys on, and you had I think it was a mechanic. Was it on one of the shows you had a mechanic?
Car salesman.
Car sales.
Yeah, car salesman. And I learned a little stuff about those guys.
Yeah,
I learned, and I like it. But you need a mechanic.
We're gonna,
Because you could tell me anything's wrong with mine. I have a Lexus 350, the TX, the new one, brand new. Had an accident 2 months in, brand new, not a mile on it. I didn't have the accident. Somebody who works for me had the accident. Let's leave it at that. Well, he hit someone at a light. The airbag went off. I didn't think that much damage, but it was damage for sure. Called my insurance company, have that. $46,000 in damage.
Total, right?
And no, they didn't total us, being fixed.
Damn.
And I'm thinking, I don't know who's ripping who off at this point. But the insurance is paying, but this is terrible. I mean, how do I know that tradesman? I believe a tradesman like Kerry, who had a truck and built up an area with just loyal customers. And, handyman, you're a woman. I'm an older guy and I know.
Yeah. It's all about reputation.
It's
all when you work in a trade, you need to have a local reputation and really build your business. And it's about word of mouth a lot of time as a handyman.
That's it.
It's just you would get referrals from other people or ladies. Like, I trust him. He worked on my house. I felt safe.
And I just say this, I know a lot of very wealthy people. And we all sit down and have lunch or so. And the biggest thing you talk about is you don't mind paying. But don't rip me off just because I have a big house or I have an RV or a Mercedes in the driveway or whatever. I don't have none of that except an older RV. But I think it's important to be just honest. You see something, don't think that, no, I can charge them more. They live in Lansing Island where we live or something. Charge them what you charge an old lady. You go in and if it's a light bulb, charge them the $100 fee or $125 fee, change the light bulb and go home and say, hey, buddy, that's just the fee because I had to come here and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
He's not even a question that. But don't say it's $500 because this happened, that happened.
No, you're going to make more in the long run as a tradesman if you just treat people fairly, build your reputation rather than scamming people one-off because you're going to get caught. People are going to talk about it in a local small town.
This is really true because that RV guy I met, and he came in. He was showing me how he was troubleshooting because I was interested, and I loved it. And did you know that night I have another friend, Ray. You know Ray, of course, Ray and Julie.
Oh yeah.
And he just bought a new RV, $70,000, van with the solar, but the whole works. And something was wrong with his battery. So I told him, hey Ray, I found a new guy because we all have RVs.
Word of mouth.
He called him. He went over there that night. The guy fixed it, right? Paid him in 2 seconds. Said, Larry, where did we find this guy? Now, he already told 2 more people. What do you think the referrals are on RV? This guy's so busy right now, the guy I got. And I don't mind that. Just be honest. You say you're going to be there, be there. And he is. He's got kids. I got to talk to him for a while. And a trade.
Yeah.
Think of it as a trade. And it is. I don't know what trade it would be under because you have to know a lot.
Yeah.
Plumbing, because it's really
RV, you better be...
No, it's not as much as you think. I found out it's more, treat the cab like a house.
Yeah.
Because
it's got plumbing, tubing, it's got AC electric, it's got DC electric. It's
exactly.
It's both. So.
And I've learned that. And I was sending it to mechanics to have
should
it
call
fixed.
me. I had to fix that. Something.
No, really. I'm sending it to mechanics who have not a clue about an RV.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some tips for listeners, something like that, it may be hard to find a program, but you can contact local companies if you're like, hey, I'd love to shadow or I want to do an apprenticeship if you can't find a program for that.
That's a great idea. And they do have them, I know, because I was going to send somebody and start a business. I really have. and might happen anytime. Because I think I could buy a van, put a kid, 25-year-old responsible young guy through a program. They have like a 6-week program. and you go to Dallas or something. I really believe it's that big. And not only do I think it's bigger, I think it's getting bigger because of rents going so high.
Yeah.
So many people are buying RVs and getting cheap lot rents of $500. I know that because there's places up in Ginny Springs and all that.
Yeah, that's a good.
Florida's
I
big
looked
for it.
into those. I have a house and all that, but it's really something for young people. And I watch a lot of that on YouTube. So it's really interesting how people take an RV or a van and it's an adventure.
Oh yeah, the van life.
You did stuff like that. I know. Your story is really
So
good.
you could kind of put the angle. Should we be teaching these guys in prison that are going to get out? Shouldn't we teach them a trade or some way to not just turn back and recidivate and come back to prison and cost us money? Get them out there paying taxes, making money by learning a trade. Even there's a little stigmatism of hiring a prisoner. But if you don't,
you get 40% tax break.
Do you really?
Yes.
To hire
40%. Think of what I just said. If you're paying someone $20 an hour, now you're paying them $12.
No kidding. And
40%, people, if you hire a felon, and that is a federal law.
So there is prison.
They do have stuff now.
Blue
Here's the
collar
problem.
training.
They have too many prisons for the number of jobs to even train. They have an HVAC guy, but usually the prison's not getting a new kid and training him. He's getting a guy who knows HVAC because he was a criminal. It's like you going to prison. Kerry, what do you know? Kerry, you're working down here for this guy, and you might teach him, and you might not like him. You don't do it. They do have culinary because they have cooks, but they're mass cooks. I'm not saying it's bad. They just don't have enough of anything to have all these people working or doing something.
So wouldn't that be a good investment from a government standpoint or from anyone's standpoint, rather than pay $60,000 a year to imprison them?
It's less than that.
Is it?
That's a number that's been inflated. It's probably about 32,000. But even
make an investment in them to get them to not be in prison.
100%. I was on a show with the Lieutenant Governor of the state, Jeff Cockcamp, and a judge who sentences people to my program. And what he was saying is about ex-felons and jobs. He says, Larry, what you're not thinking about is not only are you helping them not go to prison, what about the ones that become productive members of society with a job? Then they frequent the store. They buy from the local. They
pay taxes.
Yeah. They buy from the local ice cream store, grocery store. They date and they go to the movie theater. So they're part of the economy. You didn't say anything. I never forgot that. The trades is bigger than that. Because you get a guy, first of all, most inmates, as I know, as a man who spent, I got 4 12-year sentences and did them. So I went away in 1996. I didn't get out till 2007. Talk about not knowing technology or anything.
Yeah.
That's the boom when the internet hit. 90s, mid-90s. Every iPhone wasn't even out. I remember a Razor flip phone. I thought, wow, how can these hands touch a Razor flip phone? Crazy. I had the brick phones. I remember remember the brick?
Oh, yeah.
I used to say I could beat somebody and make a phone call.
So is there any opportunity for you to learn any trade in the prison?
Not really.
You just studied law and
Exactly. I had my own. I studied law, got my law degree. I did so much in prison. Now, I went from I didn't even have a high school law when I went to prison. I went in the military. When I was in the military, I got my high school diploma. Then I got college credits. And then, obviously, I got hurt. After that, when I did go to prison, I ended up completing my college. And I can't be a lawyer. Not that I like them anyway.
Takes one to know one. I mean, I'd hire you.
I'm telling you, I know the law very well, but listen, it's not a profession I like. You always catch people at their worst. I want to catch people at their best. I know people say, Larry, you help get. Yeah, but I see them change. A lot of outcomes. Yes, you get a win here and there, but boy, when you're fighting the government, I know what it takes.
So if you're seeing like an at-risk kid, what's like the turning point, do you think, where you're like, okay, this is just a kid that's like curious. They're just a little.
Good question. That's a great question. And I know as a woman, you want to know that. and that's a good question. Here's how I look at all young people. When a person calls me and asks for help, depending on the age, I don't go to anything under 11. And we did that because we did studies on that. And a kid at about 11 starts understanding consequences. A 5-year-old knows don't touch a stove. You'll burn. You burn fingers. A 5-year-old doesn't understand what it's like to have no feeling in your fingers. Or a 5-year-old might know not to cross the street. Mommy says you get hit by a car. doesn't understand death. But an 11-year-old knows that. So you could start doing punishments with 11 years old a lot better. They start processing, I'll take your phone or your device, and they're processing it. Now they're going to test you. So you, the parent, have to be the stronger one. Because most parents, are weak. And they first off say, you're grounded for a year. I start laughing because that's never happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they get hot and they get mad. How about go to your room? Nobody tells you when to do this. I do this for a living, and it's you go to your room. Nobody tells you how long it takes you as a person to get your stuff in shape, get your head together. How would it look if I start going crazy on my daughter because I did once, but in the right way because I did this, and I was so frustrated because it was my own daughter, and I caught myself. I said, go to your room. I caught my composure and everything. I said, well, then I called her out about 3, 4, 5 minutes later because I looked at her phone and she was 15 and I saw some pictures and all that. Typical, that's all I'm going to say, and I know that, but it's still your daughter.
Yeah.
So I caught myself, and then when I brought her out, she lost her phone for a week. That's the big deal. And she was cleaning, trying to get it back and everything. I said, great job. No. You have to stick with things. Once you do, they're going to test you. Because I sit them down at the end of any kind of punishment, any kid. If this happens again in this kind of context where you know the right and wrong happens, you're going to lose your phone for 2 weeks and maybe something else. Keep it in your head. They're going to try you. Do it. Then they start processing. Wait, I need my phone. I got to go to meet this friend, girl, whatever it is. And now I can't mess up because he will take my phone. And then I don't have numbers. I can't get a new car because they try everything. But you're teaching that kid that there's a consequence. And as far as giving up with kids, first of all, I don't give a kid. If I find out a kid hates his, because this is a lot. They hate their parents. They don't want to be around them. If I see that kid likes something, like an animal or a dog or pet or something, he's very savable because he has compassion, he has empathy. I have been around psychopaths because I was in a place you do really have psychopaths. They're dangerous. I mean, not only dangerous, I really try to knock that before something seriously happens. But there are mental cases that we know.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking is, do you think there's a genetic aspect, or is there... We're doing research. Are we going to come up with a way of identifying somebody at an early age?
I think they can already identify genes and parts of the brain that, cause certain things.
And it would behoove us.
Oh, you're predisposed, like your heart condition stuff. Some studies, and I watched this. There's some great shows I'll give you guys to watch. A Diary of a CEO. You ever watch him? Mm-mm. Very good, guys. It's long, but it's long. They literally interview CEOs of mega corporations and stuff. And
a lot of psychopaths as CEOs.
Oh, absolutely.
You might need to lack some empathy to be a CEO.
We do. Yeah, sadly, it's true. But, I mean, we've built that into our system. Nobody else has built that. People say, well, it's built in. Really? I'm more a believer it's from infant, literally. And I believe so much that the mothers should be more involved. And I think mothers have the hardest job. They're 24/7.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. That woman is worried about that child 24/7. I don't care what vacation, that's in them. And that's, I believe that women should be more, I do believe the father should be around. It should be disciplined. And I try to teach that. Don't argue in front. Don't even argue in the house because kids are smart. They're going to hear you argue, and they're the best at pitting people against each other. You remember your kids?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because what I was thinking is my dad, not necessarily the best kid. You got in so much trouble, but you didn't have that criminal mind. What do you think the difference is of a kid that's just you did things that you could have.
He just didn't get caught.
I was smart.
He didn't get caught.
Yeah.
Do you think
he could have got caught?
Yeah. Do you think there's were you interested in being a criminal? Or you think it?
Oh, no. Mine
happened?
was totally.
It
Mine was a conscious choice. I seen the mobsters, the Cadillacs, the suits that work where they want, drive us to school because we're at the bus stop in the winter. Oh, Mr. Cole, he drops stops by. They love my family because my dad, was in the construction business and they do things with them back then. And not only that, my mom was a nurse. As another profession, my two great trades, my parents, a nurse and a construction worker. My mom was a nurse, but was a stay-at-home mom. But when my dad was laid off, My mom went to work every time.
Yeah.
But when my dad got back to work and they got their bills straight, my mom stepped back and was a stay-at-home mom. So it's hard to do that today.
Yeah.
And that's with the trade salary.
What would have
guys.
made a difference in you taking a different choice?
Environment.
Like,
Environment. I think environment has more to do with it than anything, because you're around that. Again, from an infant, whether it's your mom on the porch talking to the neighbor. I mean, you don't even know it. These kids are just absorb the brain is just absorbing. Just look at a kid that's got a brain that literally goes to college at 4 or 5. You see
yeah.
That's the brain that's just, it just, boggles my mind.
So did you see it as the quickest path to the lifestyle that you wanted, like organized?
I wanted that lifestyle. I wanted the power. I wanted the money, but the power came with it. Listen, when they said something, when they said, hey, hey guys, move those cars. Everybody moved the car without a question. It was the power you saw. And right or wrong, it's just the way. And I had probably a 70-30 split, meaning 70% tradesmen, all tradesmen, or mobsters.
And it just was a better lifestyle.
You saw it. Sure, the tradesmen where my dad would come home, but they had great jobs. You look back, my dad was home at 3:30.
Nice.
And he'd come with those construction boots. Boy, we were in the street. If he whistled, you better be home. Or, but my dad was so handy. I took care of him too. And when I tell you handy, he could build anything. He was a professional too. I remember he got mad at my brother-in-law, who was a carpenter, because he made the holes too big at the end, at the where the electrical outlets and stuff go in the wall. And he says, that guy's a butcher. He don't know how to be a carpenter. Because my dad was precise. You know? I mean, he was a real tradesman. And he was a big believer in them. And I am, to this day, a very big believer in trades. And I respect them so much. And I pay them.
Yeah.
That's why, too.
And
you're lucky you got a dad that's a tradesman.
Oh, he's at my house every day fixing something.
You are so lucky.
I'm the lucky
Can I adopt you?
And what I love about trades is when you're in school, and let's say you don't come from a family with money, when you're graduating,
which I don't think any of us have.
No.
But the thought is, how do I make money? And trades, the investment is so much lower. You're not having to a 4-year degree, get student debt, and then make money. When you do a trade, you can do a program that's under a year. 6 weeks, you said, for RV, and then you immediately can start earning income.
That's
a game changer.
I'm telling you, I'm looking to put someone to work. I'm
telling you, bartenders and stuff make money now. Waitresses.
You call it the trades. I mean, obviously the trades, electricians, but we think of that. But I also think of the trades as anything that's not a profession where you need a 4-year degree.
Yes.
Like a lawyer, a doctor.
Yes. White collar.
I don't know, white collar. I don't know, big time. I don't know, something.
There's people picking up dog shit.
But I know so many people who started out not even in high school, and then they're the CEO of a company in 20 years.
Yeah.
So, I own my own company. I never wanted to work for somebody, and I never did in my life except the military. And I love the structure of the military. And I just wish we could push the trades more. Because I think you guys these young people need to know that, guys. They need to know it. Get out there. And I'll tell you, you said it right. Go be an apprentice. Or knock on a door. I give my editor, you guys know.
Yeah.
Nick.
He has a good story.
He should come out. Nick got money from the government during the COVID and bought tools and learned by YouTube how to be a tile layer and got a job $30 an hour when he was here. Right here. And he never worked. We just started. And you know what he did? He saw an ad in the paper, said, I don't know anything. I got my own tools, but I'm willing to learn. I'll take whatever you give. Guy hired him on the spot. Within a month, the guy gave him from $10 to $15 to $20 an hour in a month and a half. In 2.5, 3 months, he's at $30 an hour. And not knowing this, it's a trade. But to me, the bartender, the waitress, the hairstylist, anything. How about the clothes makers, car detailers? You had car salesmen on.
Yeah.
Get mechanics. Oh my God, Tire Kingdom people. Somebody who can make a living. And if they don't make a living, expose that as well.
Yeah.
It's not just, we're going to show you the trades. I think you want to show the trades that can make money, right? And I think most things can make money if you hustle.
And
Yeah.
unless you know someone that's doing one of these trades, you might not realize like how much a plumber makes. Like a lot of these people are making really good money, and the
Really good
hours,
money.
it's like a 9 to 5. It's not you're having to work 60 hours a week like a lawyer in a corporate environment. And it's great if you want to like have a family. You can be home at 5.
Absolutely.
Like you said, your dad was home at 3:30.
3:30. He left at 6 o'clock or whatever it was in the morning, and he went. They carpooled and whatever they did back then, and they get in the city. I remember sometimes I worked at 15 years old in a printing shop.
Oh, yeah.
15 years old in New York City, taking the train, the number 6 train down to 6th Avenue in Manhattan. I'm in the Bronx, all the way to 6th. You know, or you didn't know. You do know, or you traveled a lot.
I spent a month in Bushwick. Big fan of New York.
Oh, Brooklyn. She was in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my town. But the Manhattan is 6th Avenue and 23rd is where my uncle had a printing shop, big one. Used to print the books for NYU and like he had a big printing company. And we all got jobs there, after school at 15, jumping on a train. Today, kids are scared to, go to work at the 7-Eleven because it's at night and it's around the corner. Jesus, Christmas trees. But, we worked. And the trades always support. My dad was big on that. He used to say, learn a trade, you'll never starve.
Yeah.
It's always something you can fall back on, and they don't change that dramatic. Like if you're a plumber,
I don't buy that anymore. I don't buy fallback. It's the lead job today.
I like that.
It's not a fallback job. Fuck college. Sorry I cursed on your show.
Hot take.
If you know my channel, then go there. But I mean that because right here, we're showing from experience that trades are not a secondary job. It is a main job. In fact, it leads to you even owning your own business and hiring other tradesmen. And that's what happens. If you have any ambition, if not, you can work a great life doing the trades, not worrying about a thing. Sometimes as a business owner, I wish I could do that. I can retire, but I'm not doing that either because I can't retire. I mean, what am I going to do? The money's there. What am I going to do? I have not a clue what I would do. Sit around?
Yeah, that's why I love that my dad's, you're able to, if you want to, completely retire, you could, but also you can do it part-time. Like you can and it keeps your
It
mind
travels
sharp.
if you learn how to, it's not that
You
big
did that your whole life, though. I know that. I know your story, Ken.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard it on the show, too. But people, you got to tell more people how much you know.
Yeah. I
You
started
know
as
a
an
lot
electrician.
about the trade.
Yeah. It didn't pay very well, believe it or not, back in the 80s. It didn't pay very well.
It didn't here.
It didn't here.
In unions, it did in New York.
Oh, it paid everywhere else. But
Everywhere.
here, that's why I went and became a mechanic because it paid 3 times as much if you were good. And I just happened to transition and
I
was good.
respect you so much because of what you've done. Like, you've tried things. You've been a cop. You've been an electrician. You've been what's the other? Mechanic. Something else.
Now I'm a handyman. So.
Technician.
He really is. I respect people, one, for doing it his way. No matter what. He's not living for anybody. He's living for him. And he raised a nice family. And he's a respectful guy.
We could sit here and talk all day about stories and stuff
Let's
like
call
that.
it interesting.
Do you have a lot of, regret and, oh, my
None.
God.
Zero regret.
Even for the victims?
Zero regret.
I mean,
it's not about...
the people that you might have affected negatively.
the word is wrong. Regret.
Yeah.
You can't regret things. You'll die. You'll die from the inside. You have to forgive yourself.
That's what I'm getting at.
Obviously. And if I know exactly what I did and how bad it is, and I didn't hurt anybody physically, but that has nothing to do with it because I still scared people. I put fear in them. Who knows? But, you look at it, people have to get on with their lives as well.
Right.
Life is not some just rosy, we get everything we want and go flying through life with a little skirt on. I'm not saying it is trauma, but get help, do your things. I feel for them. Someone said, should you contact? Some contacted me and definitely thought, I don't want to bring up old wounds. I think that would be wrong to do. Of course, now I want to see them stop. I don't want young people to go to jail. They're gonna.
Right.
But regret is not right. Would I do it different? Of course. Would I, do what I didn't know? Again. But regret's such a negative word. I try to keep a couple words out of my mouth. Regret and hate. I was abused in prison. Abused.
Yeah.
And that's all documented. FBI, the whole works. And it took me a long time to get over that hate that was consuming me. I was planning how to murder them. I mean, down to the T. Until my cousin, who's a who's the smartest woman I ever met, and she's 60 years old, and she consults governments and mega corporations doing billion-dollar deals. She lives all over the world. She lives in Budapest now, and she's psychologist, smartest woman ever. She saved my life, and she saw the hate in me, and she said, "Larry, I gotta stop you right now." I didn't say forgive him. I didn't say not to forget, but you gotta you have to take the hate, because they're hurting you, and you don't even know it. They keep abusing you without abusing you. You think they know about it? They probably abuse 20 other people. They don't care. They don't care. They're heartless. They're no empathy. They're off psychologically. She says, you're letting them abuse you every day. Look at you. You talk to me about you. And I went back and slept, and I really, I did forgive. But I don't even think about them. I think about how sad is their life if they got to abuse a dude who's in the worst part of his life. Not like I did anything to them or anything. What is wrong with you? Where is your moral compass if they don't have one, obviously?
These prison guards that abuse you.
Yeah, and again, there were prison guards that saved my life. You read the book, and one used to sit down and open the chute door, talk about God, talk about whatever. I've read the Bible 5 times, cover to cover, the Quran 3 times. I read the Torah. I read them all, multiple, because all you get in certain prisons is a religious book. So I love Buddhism more than anything. I believe in it more than anything because it's peaceful. It's love.
Yes.
I don't believe one guy is up there saying, you don't like me, you're all dead. Nah, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
That guy, I'm a logical man.
Yeah.
But the hate and the regret is things that kill you from the inside. That's not a way you got to live life. I try to help somebody every day. Somebody, whether it's come on somebody's show, do something, anything. Open a door for a lady. Write a nice email back. I don't care, one little thing. I sometimes get on my Discord when I got thousands in it. What is he doing here? I want to do something great. And some kids call me now from London in a group. And I'll answer once in a while. They call through Discord and they'll see this probably. And they're good guys, And I have so many loyal people that it's nice that, listen, I know, and I get the haters too. So you're going to get that too. Oh, you dump it on people. You're not dumping on anyone. Stick by who you are. I love your show.
Yeah, we're just trying to expose some.
Absolutely.
And maybe reach a kid like you as a young kid that might want to take a different path.
If we reach one.
Well, like I say, we're doing this, and I would like to see personally more investment, because I talked to a sheriff one time, and he was telling me he did this little kids program. He said, think about this. You get 100 kids, and you do something with them. If you stop 2 of them from becoming a criminal, even though you spent $10 a head on these kids for whatever. Think of the money you just saved. Spent. Yeah.
I have my reality check program,
Yeah.
And we just redid it. We're going worldwide. We're going public, actually. It's what a headache, but it is what it is. And I'm dealing with the professional types, and I'd rather deal with the plumbers.
Yeah.
But I just think it's right there, and you got a good thing, guys.
Thank you. And what I think is interesting is...
And you're right about that. The government needs to get more involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I want them to see this show. I really do. Because schools used to do better. I don't know what they're doing now. So maybe you'd like to bring a student or a teacher, a shop teacher. I think you should. And we have to start opening people's eyes. Nobody's doing that. There's tradesmen out there. Great shows, great channels, guys. But I don't see one about the trades. All jobs that don't need it. Listen, if you can get out of high school and make a great living, that to me is a great trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're pushing college because, spoiler, it makes money.
It's
a money-making machine.
Yeah. Guess who holds on?
We will.
Yeah.
Because
don't get me on this.
Everyone needs to go to college. Colleges are privatized and they make a ton of money. And I have $60,000 in student debt, yet AI is making it impossible to find a job.
Not only that, they were pushing psychology. I have a minor in psychology. Give me a break. What job am I get?
Yep, my undergraduate degree in psychology, so I got a graduate degree because you couldn't find a job.
Deal.
And
if I get business, I do business, I have business behind me, but it's the law because that's my business. Other than that, I could care less about my degree. I don't even put it on my wall. Come into my office. I might put it up.
But so many jobs like, oh, you have to have a 4-year degree to show you can learn because you're not learning valuable skills.
You know what you learn quick about that, and guys out there, when you're in a trade, you even work with a bit. Let's say you're a plumber and you end up working for Harris or whatever it is. You're going to end up, they're going to see how valuable you are. Maybe not at Harris right away because they're so big, but get a little bit small when people see your worth. That's what happens.
On a personal level, from what you've been through, you got like any PTSD? Do you
sure.
Do you walk on eggshells, not wanting to break the law, afraid you'll end up there?
Yeah, I'm actually, the VA has. I'm 100% disabled with that. Of course, PTSD. I picked up 70 dead bodies. I think babies hanging out of my arms. You get a little crazy sometimes.
And prison life was...
And then that's another whole animal. So
yeah,
I was pretty messed up before, I think. Yeah, I lived a crazy life. But, you know, I don't make excuses. I never complain. You know that.
I don't know how you deal with it, knowing what you went through.
I know a lot of Joe, my buddy, you know, my best friend, buddy, and Louie, they said, you know, they used to visit me. And I never wanted to let my mistakes affect anybody else. So I was never, oh, this sucks. I'd come out, show my body. I was in great shape. You know, just enjoying a visit. But, you know, I knew, listen, you're a moron if you don't know that you were guilty. Now, the system is so broke. There are so many people in there. If they're not outright guilty, they're way mis-sentenced or unjust sentences. Kid would pop, get 20 years.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You know, some stupid stuff. And it's out there. And the government doesn't play fair, but we're not going to get into that. This is about the trades. I really wish more young people would listen. And I think you need to push this to pay places. And I'm going to do whatever I can to help. Because showing kids that there's a better way than college. I wasn't a college kid. I'm only a college kid now because I loved what I was reading. I'm a big reader. I love to read.
But it's not guaranteed income like a trade.
No.
You could graduate and not find a job.
I know lawyers who are clerks for a judge right now. Full lawyer, a clerk making $30,000, $45,000 a year.
Yeah.
Nice degree you got.
Yeah,
well, you always need electricians, you always need plumbers, you always need mechanics.
But I'll also say this, no matter what, even a good lawyer, I know one that started at $180,000. And you know her too.
Yeah.
John's daughter. So my point is she was the number one in her class.
There's no, you have to be a hard worker.
About work.
There's no substitute for hard work. In the trade, you're going to work hard, but it may be a different kind. Like you're working hard from 9 to 5 compared to someone at like a hedge fund where it's calculated, like you got to work 60 to 70 hours a week. In the trades, it's probably not that, but you are going to have to work hard when you're on the job. There's 100%. No substitute for hard work.
And you know, getting back to the thing, when I was younger, and you know, you did something, and I heard it on your show, how you know, that's what you wanted to do. You said you and your buddies going out and getting the cars. I remember that whole show. And I love that because you followed what you did. And that's the way. People got to understand happiness is not about just making the most money. It's really not. I know I was a multimillionaire multiple times. Lose it, gain it, lose it, gain it. The government comes in. You know, I lost $6 million on top. 1.6 million in cash. That hurt. But it's not mine, so I never complain. You know that. It is what it is. You know, I know. Listen, I lived that crazy life. The limousine, the bodyguards, the houses, the boats, the yacht. I had it all.
You can still be unhappy. The bank account doesn't always equal happiness.
I won't say it was I was. I was not where I am now. I'm more happy now. Even my freaking arm hurt. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't think about, you know, I do have that PTSD from cops. You see a cop comes in, you know, I was swatted and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, there's that, but totally different life. I'm happier now than I've ever been.
And your attitude is so amazing because you're someone that could have every reason to be angry from
Judge
external
Silverman
factors.
said that to me.
And you take ownership.
And, you know, Judge Silverman said it was great. He goes, you know, Larry, I know you a long time. You've been vetted by every organization in the world. Literally, FBI, because I'm recognized on Congress. I've been honorary police officer. So I've been vetted so many times. Every news organization that uses you for major stuff, they have to vet you. Otherwise, who is this guy talking? But he said to me, Larry, I know your story. He goes, I think you almost have a reason to be bitter. And I stopped him in his tracks. We were on the golf course. And I said, you're wrong, Judge. I said, in fact, it's worse. everything that's happened to me from my youth, being abused, whatever, as a young kid, I've taken that and never made an excuse out of it. I try to teach people how to get through it better from youth as a kid. And I don't blame that for who I am today. Oh, he was abused. He's now. Stop the fucking excuses. You can beat that.
Nope. We sell it like it is.
Okay, but you know what I meant? And I don't know. I use everything that's happened to me as a learning experience to teach us. And I try to teach that to the people who come. If you're a young person or you're an adult and you got a DUI or you got, I don't know, fighting in a bar and arrested and spent the night in jail 2 nights a week, whatever happened to you, it's not the end. It's just the beginning. In fact, you could use that to teach others because you are now in an exclusive club. There's not many people who have exactly what happened to you. There are people who get arrested for DUI, but there's how many billion people in this world, and not everybody's a DUI. So you can start telling what happened, man, how it was, how you were humiliated or what, or how to get through it. Just start educating, and it helps yourself. It helps me. Whenever I teach young people about what I did wrong, it's being selfish because I'm actually teaching, I'm reminding myself how, life, this is what life is about, not just getting that money. And yeah, I make money and all that. But it's not about that. It really is. And I give away a lot of money people don't know. Yeah. I would love to do that. I go to the Winn-Dixie and just pay for people's groceries.
Yeah.
My mom used to love to see me do that. She'd go herself, what she was doing. And I'd sit there because I don't know, shopping, and I'd read the paper because it had the New York Post or something in a Winn-Dixie right up where I live. And I'd see somebody get online. I could see they put something back because they didn't make it that. I'd get up and I'd never embarrass them and say, oh man, I just hit the lottery or something. Man, let me take care of it. Man, I've had young men, 30 years old. They was going to put a 12-pack of beer back on a Friday at 1 in the afternoon because my mom always went there on Friday. She did her hair. So, and I said, no, put that back, man. Put it, because he had meats. The guy cried and hugged me. He said, you made my... And I didn't do that to tell anybody. I mean, I know you're the first person I've told. My mother always used to say, I love doing that.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Because you've experienced the highs and lows. You know what it's like to be on both sides.
100%.
You're at your lowest, and when you're at your highest, you can help.
I was eating 25-cent ramen noodle soups, raw, drinking water so they expand in your stomach and you're not hungry. Think of that. And I was doing that, going from a millionaire to making it.
To eating fucking...
Really, I think about that, I get the chills.
Wow.
And it's just, you survived. You did what you had to do. You don't realize what you can handle. It's so, people say, Larry, you don't stress over this shit. I don't. I mean, we all have our, you know what? What happens, happens. Life, the sun's coming up and the day's going on and I make amends. I apologize if I'm wrong. I try to correct things. And if I can't. And life's going on.
And do you think that it would be harder to get a job if you have a felony or you've made a big mistake like DUI for a corporate job compared to trying to learn a trade?
Trade is the easiest to go to. Great question. 100%. Business owners, if anybody's listening out there, you get a 40% tax rate.
That's huge.
That is huge.
Yeah.
People don't get that. You're paying someone $20 an hour. You hire 3 felons, you're now paying them $12.
Is that a...
And I'll tell you what, felons, I hire felons.
Yeah.
And I tell them right out, listen, guys, I know the bullshit. I know the game. You already had your one shot. I'm going to give you a shot. You fuck up, you're gone. And stick with that. And I said, you tell your friends they want a job and I have it. They can't, but it's the same rules because you were gone. And I've had to let go. And they've come back 6 months later and said, man, I messed up. You were right, lad, whatever. And it's the point of telling people what's going to happen and sticking to it. And felons listen, if a guy's a drug dealer, he knows how to organize. He knows how to sell a product. He knows how to get the money and then do something with the money, buy more product. He's not an idiot.
A lot of criminals are really smart.
Very
smart. Too smart.
The prisons I was in, it was federal. We didn't have the petty guy running into 7-Eleven. We had the hitman, the mafia boss, the drug kingpin.
There's levels of crime.
Yeah, we had
white collar and blue collar, right?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the white collar one with us.
Yeah,
They weren't.
They're the accountant cheats and the guys that
They
are
were
money
going- They were
launderers.
going with some
They're in
friends
the
I know.
country
They don't-
clubs. The
But-
country club, they're playing golf and
They
shit.
ain't playing golf, but yeah, I mean,
But
my
being in-
guys weren't doing that.
But being in prison also, it's so routine based, and providing structure for something like hiring a felon, doing a trade that can provide really important structure for someone rebuilding
Prison?
their life. Isn't it routine based and you have to?
Prison teaches you nothing. It teaches you hate. If you have an addiction, it feeds your addiction. There is nothing in prison that's good. I'm telling that right now. Can you get something out of nothing? Sometimes you can. I think I did, although it cost me a lot of heartache, loss of family, phone couldn't call, in the hole for trying to help people. So, no. Any way you get a job is structured. Prison is not the place. Can we help prisoners? Yes. But there's nothing. I don't want officials. I would love to debate officials. They're scared to come on with me. I know my numbers. Listen, I won't get into what they do and how they do it, but it's not right. I wish they would do more programs. If I was running things, that would be get rid of private prisons because there's a profit margin on a prison.
Yeah.
How can you do that?
Yeah.
It just off the top of your head. If you get more prisoners, you make more money, and you got stockholders.
Yeah.
You could
I would
say, no, we have enough. No, we're doing better. Look. Bullshit. And I'll prove it with numbers. And I found out when I got out, because I have a guard that will come on your show, who's a former guard who went to prison himself because he was bringing in tobacco and creatine because his mother had cancer and he couldn't afford the treatment. And I know him to this day. He's been on my show many times. He was my guard, and he was the union president. I think you guys should have him on. And when he came on, and I've been on multiple times, they could look on my show. We talked about the Epstein thing. We talked about how we know what happened because we're both from guards' points, inmates, same prison, everything. And then how he told me how wardens make bonuses by cutting food costs, by cutting programs. They get bonuses. We're giving government employees bonuses. What is wrong with that to incarcerate our own people? Why don't you look at Sweden, Germany, all of those countries? It's totally different. You know, we have the worst prison system in the free world. That's fact. I mean, by numbers, by money, by recidivism rate, every metric you can do. Worse than China, India, 1.4 billion people they got, and we got to. Why? And don't tell it. No, I'm sorry, guys.
No, this is
I really am sorry.
I opened up a can of worms. I'm sorry.
Because what happens is our country, and I love my country. I just celebrated the 4th. Listen, it is what it is. I'm not going to get into how we got the country and all that, but that's here or there. It is what it is. That's what happened back 250 years ago, and it happened all over with the Huns, the Vikings, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was. If you read enough, you'll understand it. But what I think happens is we have such government control, and the United States tells other countries, we're not going to work with you because you have human rights. What are they doing to their own people? What we're doing to our own people should be, it should really raise flags. What cops are doing, you guys know this, don't tell me because I'm a big constitutionalist with the First Amendment. I can ask cops, I'll ask him, they don't know the 5 elements of the First Amendment. Do you?
5 elements?
Elements of the First Amendment. You know what the First
Freedom of
Amendment is?
speech.
What else? There's 5 of them.
No.
Thank you. And I'm not calling you out, Carrie.
No,
You've
the
been
fifth.
a cop for a while. No, the 5th is a different. There's 5 elements, which is freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assemble, freedom of petition your government, and I said religion, speech, and assemble. Look at me, I'm fucking taking a blow. Oppress, freedom of press. So those 5 are the main elements. I asked cops, multiple cops, not one of them got it right. Not that I don't study it, but I just know it. And I did study it. And I believe in it so much. The First Amendment. And why is the First Amendment there? Let me give a history, quick lesson. Why is the First Amendment there? Well, because when we seceded from England, we had the Boston Tea Party. And we tried to assemble, and they came and tried to take out guns. That's why it's the second. So freedom of speech is the first because they tried to shut us up and we had taxation without representation. We had no voice. Freedom of speech. That's the Tea Party. Why? Well, then when England came over here, the Tories, they tried to take everybody's gun. Well, why is it the Second Amendment? Because you ain't taking my gun. I need that to survive. I need that to hunt or whatever it is. Second Amendment. Third, people don't even know. It's housing officers at time of war in quarters. You had to do that. We can get rid of it, of course.
It's
we need to. You don't need to have a tank either if it's considered a Second Amendment. My point is, we have these things and they were constructed just the way they were if you just follow them. Cops, they piss me off. They should never pull somebody over unless they're a danger on the road. If you have a broken taillight, so what? You want to take your readers, they all have now, send them a warning, okay, as a good citizen. Or pull them over and say, I'm really pulling you over. I don't even want your license or registration. You all right? Is everything all right? Because you went through that light or you rolled through that sign and usually somebody comes by and hits people. So I don't want you to get hit. Just have a great day.
There's the empathy.
You know how quick that person will go home and tell 50 people?
And can we also go back? I wasn't trying to say that prison is good in any way. I was just saying that when you exit, like you leave prison, day one, you're not used to having so much autonomy over your day.
No, you're actually institutionalized. I couldn't even order a cup of coffee.
So
I could not order a cup of coffee. Everybody, if you do more than a year in prison, you get, and I didn't think I was. I used to read the paper, did the law, sometimes watch the news. And I was so institutionalized, I could not buy a cup of coffee. I felt people looking at me. I didn't understand. In prison, everything is done for you. Yeah. You know what you're going to wear. You know what you're going to eat. You know what time you're going to eat. Everything is there. Now, of course, we alter it by, cooking in the cell, trying to break up any kind of routine we can. It's not about the eating. It's about doing something different. It's you start going crazy, and that's all done on purpose. They make people robots on purpose. I mean, we're one of the only countries in the world that actually, if you're a prisoner and you try to escape, they're gonna charge you. So if you get a sentence like a life sentence, are you supposed to at that table say, "Thank you, Your Honor, let me go do that"? Me, I'm trying to escape every second of every day, and I think every normal person would. I'm supposed to live in this box like because I did. Yes, I messed up. Yes, I did it. Yes, but with no date. For the rest of my life, I'm getting out of here somehow. Are you kidding me?
We're still animals.
Guys do it every day. And no women, then they take the books away. What do you want? You can only, let me leave it off.
But I would imagine, though, being able to learn a trade, having a purpose, having a structured day where you have a job would help you eventually re-enter society. So that's what I was trying to get at.
In fact, I think that's so important. The trades would help ex-felons more than regular people because most trades are moving. It's not set in a position. You put a guy, Joe, my buddy used to say, Larry, when I got out, I had offers from jobs from like lawyers to write briefs. Even though I can't be a lawyer, I'm still a licensed paralegal. But I have a law degree because I can't take the bar. But besides that, I look at it and say, I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to stay in one spot and be leg locked up. Like if you take an ex-con and put him in a deep fat fryer in McDonald's, great job, let's say, but he might stick somebody in that damn deep fat fryer because he's locked up again. He's feeling it, and it won't take long. Now you take a plumber or get him as an apprentice with you or somebody. Before you know it, he's the hardest worker you want. You got to be set, and I can tell you, it's amazing the difference you are when you get it. Because for one, you know how to survive with little. A lot of people don't. They have to have everything, so you're not paying them enough because they couldn't buy the new VCO, whatever they got today. And these guys aren't. They know how to live frugal. They're in a little cell, so they can sell with a few. They can get a couple of people with them. They can live. They don't mind it. They can sleep on a couch for months. They can eat little. I know. I did it. Then I did the gluttonness of, but my point is, for a trade, no better, different jobs. Even if you go on a job site, you're only there for a month or 6 weeks or maybe less. Or, more about that than I do. But I just think that moving around will help a lot of people.
I think that's an important takeaway that if you've made a mistake, you have a DUI, maybe you think, okay, I'm not going to be able to work in a white collar corporate environment, but you still can have a beautiful career in a tradesman. Like everything's not
Agreed.
over. You have a path.
I want people to get away from thinking about the story. Yeah, and for some people, maybe I hate to say it's a nerd in school or something, or you just love whatever it's going to be. But man, I want people to understand the trade should be out front. You should be thinking about that at 16. Say, man, what you were talking about you when you were young doing stuff. And I remember, I remember he was doing his cars, him and his buddies. And
we were hot rodders.
Right, hot
rodders.
So he always knew he was good with his hands from a young age.
Yeah.
And I think I made a mistake. And also what I love is
You didn't make a mistake.
Well, I didn't anticipate AI and how marketing was going to change. You can't do that.
Yeah, there's going to be some people hit hard.
But
very hard.
I also love that you can learn a trade. Like if I wanted to, like I'm 32, I could go learn a trade. It would be harder to break into like marketing or something as someone in your 50s. But realistically, you could go learn to be whatever trade you want to do. There's no age limit on it. There's no stigmatism.
I'm learning. I'm 60. I'll be 65 in 2 months. October. What is that? July. August, September. Yeah. And I'm loving learning this RV stuff. And I do one stupid thing a day. I might change a bulb. I say to myself, listen, that's why the challenge came, my discipline challenge with the food.
There you go.
And I'm not going to break that. That's 30 days. You'll see me have to organize. I got nothing but pantry. And what's in the fridge and the pantry, I'm not allowed to eat another thing from DoorDash to anything.
30 days?
30 days.
I got a chicken after the 30 days.
Well, it's such easy. There's macaroni and cheese in there.
Well, being in prison,
That's exactly what I'm
it's
thinking.
not as tough as that.
Right. That's it. Because now I looked already, and I'm going to look later, and I'm going to actually do more because we do it. And every night at 7 p.m. it comes out. Every night. Tonight's the first night. So
all right. So we're pitching.
So 7 p.m. That's my thing. That's what I like.
Larry's 30-day challenge.
And they can go anytime, go back. It's short. It's only 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, but it's got my day in it.
And I love it. It's a great thing on waste too. Like we're so used to excess. We throw so much away.
I was the worst. And maybe not the worst. I know people, I'll eat left. I don't care. I'll look at it. All right. I used to eat chicken out of my locker for a week. So you eat food. I got an iron stomach. Trust me on that one. But,
it's just different mentality. My fiance, he grew up.
Is he in the trades?
Salesman.
Car sales. He was on the car
Car
sales.
sales? That's your...
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You didn't say that.
But so he grew up USSR Moldova. So his views on like expiration dates and food waste are so much different because his parents had to go line up to get bread when he was born. So his mentality is just completely different. We don't throw out leftovers or anything.
I think more money should go to communities, community policing.
Preventative. Stop them from being criminals in the first place.
Absolutely. What happened to programs in schools?
Yes.
They used to have the egg program when I grew up. You remember that when we grew up? They show an egg and then they had it boiling on a grill and said, your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
They don't have anything today, I found out. Nothing.
Yeah.
So where do you think kids are getting information from? The drug guy.
The internet.
Or the drug guy or wherever.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We're not even trying. Oh, they don't listen. Well, you're not even trying. Of course they're not going to listen. You send people home on suspension to a house with 2 parents working. So now the kid's a latchkey kid and he's suspended. Please suspend me.
Put him to work.
Crazy?
Make him learn a trade. Go have him do an apprenticeship for a day.
Absolutely. I talk about that and yes.
Go
get
dig a
teachers
ditch.
on here.
Hard work.
I'll kind of summarize.
Yes.
We should wrap. But
yeah, I know. I could talk forever. Sorry about that.
Well, if you're a kid and you can steal a car stereo, you could also install a car stereo. You know what I mean? You could learn from.
You can learn for sure because I stole enough of those.
Yeah, if you're a good thief and you're taking apart cars, right? You could also
that
think
is very
about,
true. We used to strip.
Why don't you put them back together and do it legitimately? Because if you end up where Larry did in prison, it's not a good life.
Good, very good saying, Gary.
And if you can,
doesn't matter what you did in life, doesn't matter where you are in life, you can start a trade.
Yeah.
Whether you're 16 or 56.
Yeah.
You just think
Instead of stealing cars, repair a car.
What are you interested in? What transferable skills do you have?
And it doesn't take money.
No, it's easy.
YouTube will change them as a trade.
You can learn.
I don't want people to learn any shit on the internet except a trade. I really don't. I hear those colleges, come get your degree, get in debt. Go get a trade. You can learn it online. Nick did it. Have him on. Have him show what he's a young guy. He's 29.
Oh, yeah. Smart as hell.
29. Yeah, he's a nut too. There you go. But I know he's good. But he did it himself, and I love that. I went into his house. He'll tell you, he didn't have a bed or anything, and I opened our friends up, and I never do that. I put something on our group. I said, "There's a couple here that have zero." I walked in the house and nothing. It was sleeping on a blanket. Nothing in rent and pay. They took every dime they owned, $5,000, young couple, just for the down payment and the first month, last month.
For an apartment?
Yeah, for a house. So they have a dog, but it was like $1,800, and these kids, and I'm like, oh my God. And I walked in there, and you know me, I ended up opening the door. I went into my RV, gave them coffee makers and blankets, rubber bed. Then I went online and put it up to our friends. They had their whole house furnished in a day. The kid was crying.
Yeah.
The kid was crying.
It's amazing.
But what respected me, and I hope you don't hear it. Now, what respected me about him is he didn't ask me for help. He was just happy even.
Too proud, yeah.
And Ed, I gave him help. And, he still works for me, and he still rents a room for me. But he makes good money, so he's all right. And I think I'm a good boss, but maybe not.
Sometimes people just need a chance. That
Yes.
one little moment probably
Yes.
changed
Spark.
his entire.
I speak deep, when I want to. And I think it's helping. I want to see other people do that, change and just try to help somebody. And I really think, I know so many tradesmen who will grab a guy and say, come with me and give him money out of their pocket. You know it too, kid.
Yeah.
And I want people to know that out there. So if you're on my channel, you check this out, and you can email them. You have emails up there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Made
we
in the
gotta
trade.
always get it.
Made in the trade at gmail.com. If you have
There
an
you go,
amazing
made in-
trade, we want to hear.
We want to hear your stick.
Kerry will hear and give you advice.
Yeah.
This man knows more about the trades than any man I know. But I just wish everybody out there the best, and thank you.
All right. Well,
That was Made in the
About
Trade.
gets it.
Thank you,
Thank you, guys. I
Larry.
really
yeah,
appreciate
Made
you
in
guys.
the
Good luck
Trade with
the
Larry Lawton, the infamous, famous Larry Lawton.
Where I can help, I always will. And I've helped a lot, and that's a great feeling. You
Yeah.
guys are too. Thanks again.
Thank you
Have a
so
great
much.
day, guys.
Thank you.